bicycle out to Peugeot. I'm going to go in for a drive. One thing I'll say, it's already quite hot in here. Water temp's good. I think I need to put a new battery on the list.
Moment of truth.
Should fire now.
There we go. Sounds nice. I'll let you have a quick drive. Now that is a cool looking car. I'm very jealous. If this turns up at a track day, can you imagine the responses this is going to get? People are going to be very confused.
I'll just do a couple of runs.
I've not actually even heard this go, so this is going to be impressive to see. So cool to see it going.
You know what it sounds like from outside?
It sounds really good. That dump valve is so loud as well. But you said you were doing 3 laps, you did about 7. You said you were doing 3 laps, you did about 7.
Still can't hear you. Do you want to have a drive or?
Not yet.
Where's the handbrake then? Is it just this thing?
Is that off now then, yeah?
Do you want to put that in behind your back?
I think it's
luxury.
It's very nice luxury, yeah.
Brakes are quite bad, so just pump them a bit. Sweet. Sounds really good, I think.
I only went steady. I didn't go too quick, but
no.
It's so cool. Yeah, I love it.
The suspension's way too soft, isn't it?
The suspension's not too bad. It's the brakes are a bit spongy, that's why I was
Yeah.
being careful. So
I think I'm going to tighten up the damping as well, though. Start driving it around. I need to get the trailer back, really. I'll watch you on the trailer then. Now hard right. Turn right a bit more. Keep going straight. Left hand down a bit. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, make sure the water pump is off. No, it's only a shakedown. Oh, shut on it.
I like that, mate. It's cool.
We've now got it back in the build tent. I have to square up the car now so I can get all the way around it to work on it. It's quite a long process. Next, I'll walk you through all of this. I'll quickly go through this stuff on the bench and then we'll have a look under the engine bay. As we talked about before, we believed there was an issue with the tumbler valves. Indeed, they were a problem, so before any tuning could take place, these had to be removed. Another big issue were the injectors. I bought these 650cc Denso injectors online. Admittedly, they were quite cheap, and when they were flow tested, one was 11% bigger, and the spray pattern was way off. So these have been replaced. The idle control valve was playing up, so that was replaced. I thought I could get away with using the old coil packs. However, some of them look a little frazzled, so they've all been replaced for new ones. The lambda probe burnt out on the dyno, so we have a new one of those. The airflow meter wasn't giving a very good reading. It may be down to my custom air intake I made. So a parent cold air intake has been fitted with a brand new airflow meter. The fuel pressure regulator is bolted back down and the gauge has been removed. The injectors have been replaced with uncapped flow matched pink injectors. They are a smaller capacity but are correct for this application. These are no good to anybody really. And it's a reminder that cutting corners usually ultimately costs you, especially when it's important, like providing fuel to your engine. I would like to still make use of this cold air intake and incorporate it somehow with the new pairing kit. So here we have the dyno printout. As we said before, the limiting factor is the factory 5-speed gearbox. So with that in mind, we haven't pulled as much power as we can possibly get from the engine. However, it's a good starting point. It made 304 horsepower and 309 foot-pounds of torque. You can see the graph is quite linear. So the power band is around 3.5 and then it peters off around 5,000. And on the boost graph, you can see it peaks at around 1.2 bar. I will look through the comments and see who got the closest figures. As you just saw, Niall and I did get a chance to do a quick shakedown. We literally drove it around for 10 minutes just to check the brakes, suspension, so I have a reasonable idea of what I can work on and improve. I did notice there is a small oil leak that has developed since tuning the car, so I'll look into that. The battery is not really holding charge at all now. I need to replace that as soon as possible to make it nice and reliable. The biggest issue we found on doing the shakedown is the brakes are still not right, so it needs a lot more bleeding, or I need to come up with another solution. So that is something that really needs addressing before we can drive the car really hard. So first things first, for me to get the car back in the air so I can see where the oil leak is coming from. I need to give it a good clean. You can see the birds have been busy too. It does appear to be coming from the tube that goes into the sump where the dipstick goes. Part of me was thinking it could be the sump to motor seal, but that all looks dry. So I think I'll give it a good clean up, then I'll see about taking the dipstick tube out. As the level of oil in the sump is higher than where the dipstick enters it, it means I need to drain some of the engine oil so I can get the area I want to seal nicely dry. To do with a second oil change anyway, so I may as well drain all of the oil, swap the filter out again, then hopefully I can sort the leak. Next I'll get the battery removed and see about getting a new one. It's heavy. If I can find a battery that is similar dimensions that has a bit more juice, I think it's going to be a good option. These are the O-rings that came off the dipstick tube. If it will focus. So you can see the one on the bottom has been pinched, so that's most likely the cause of the problem. I'm hoping a slightly larger O-ring is going to sort this problem out. You can see the wall thickness is a bit thicker. I'll try these on the dipstick tube. The new battery is noticeably bigger. This battery that was on the car is 450 cold cranking amps. The standard Subaru, it should be 580. It's way too low anyway, so I went for a 640. I managed to find a battery that's the same height, so it should do well. Hopefully when I put it in the car now, it's not too wide. We have the battery in place, ready to go. Yeah, now I have scratches on the window, probably seagull's fault. New oil filters on. That's it for another episode. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. If you have any questions about the build, leave them in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you very soon.